What's up, guys? CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new episode of the Superfriends podcast, where we talk about everything going on under the DC Comics sun. I'm joined, as always, by Tim.
How's it going, everyone?
And Luke.
Hey, guys. What's up?
We actually now kind of know what's going to be replacing Metropolis on their live-action 2019 straight-to-DC Universe series, and that is a Swamp Thing series. That's right. The rumors had been that he was potentially going to get, another live-action movie, but no, he's going to get another live-action TV series. And the reason why I'm so excited about this is that it has a ton of great talent behind it. And that includes James Wan, of course, who you probably know best as the director of Aquaman, and, before that, horror movies like The Conjuring. Hold on, let me see if I can find the other guys involved. It's going to be written by Mark Verheiden, the guy from Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Its co-writer Gary Dauberman, and also executive produced by, I want to say, Michael Clear, who also had something to do with not it, but Annabelle Creation. So really a who's who.
Lots of horror people in there.
Yeah, and
Which makes sense.
James Wan clarified on Twitter it is going to be more horror than anything else.
Good.
Yes, so I'm just going to read the plot synopsis real quick as well, which kind of sounds interestingly like there's the potential for a lot of horror, but there also is like a lot of very comic booky sounding stuff in there. So the series follows CDC researcher Abby Arcane, who returns home to her childhood home of Houma, Louisiana, in order to investigate Houma, Louisiana.
Houma, yeah. Trust me, I'm from there.
Returns home to her childhood home in order to investigate a deadly swamp-borne virus. There, she develops a surprising bond with scientist Alec Holland, only to have him tragically taken from her. But as powerful forces descend on Houma, intent on exploiting the swamp's mysterious properties for their own purposes, Abby will discover that the swamp holds mystical secrets, both horrifying and wondrous, and the potential love of her life may not be dead after all. That's right. It kind of sounds, honestly, very comic booky to me, but with the guys behind it, I'm expecting that this is going to be a creepy series. What do you guys?
Spook.
What do you guys make of this? I know I don't know that anybody would say Swamp Thing is our favorite characters, but I mean, I feel like we got some Swamp Thing lovers in the house. I was looking at you, Luke.
I knew Luke loved Swamp Thing.
So Luke, what was your reaction when you heard, one, that there was going to be a series, and two, the people that were going to be behind it?
I am very happy about the idea of it going more horror. That's probably where I think Swamp Thing fits best. A lot of the Alan Moore stuff is probably some of my favorite Swamp Thing stuff. Still to this day, even though they've done good stuff outside of that. The plot synopsis reminds me a lot of like the 1970s version when Len Wein first created him. Is it Ween or Wine?
I think it's Wayne.
Wayne. Len Wein.
Wayne.
When Len Wein first created him, like back in 1970 whatever, it was basically like a horror monster comic, but the monster was a good guy. This sounds a lot like that. I'm not sure. So the synopsis itself is very interesting to me because they have compacted a lot of information, like Abby Arcane being Alec Holland's love interest in the beginning, instead of him having a wife and getting thrown into the swamp and whatnot.
I think a lot of pretty much every adaptation so far has just had Abby Arcane or her equivalent just been the love interest and not done the wife.
I actually can't remember. They might have. I guess they did do that in the New 52. I keep forgetting that. I can't remember a lot of it. But point being, interesting stuff. The whole swamp virus thing sounds a little weird to me. It's giving me flashbacks of the Wes Craven movie, which I actually love, unironically. But I guess I shouldn't say that. I do like it ironically. But I like this premise a lot. If only because I've been wishing for a Swamp Thing forever. This also gives me the impression that we're probably not going to be seeing a lot of him.
Potentially. I guess it's one of those things that it kind of comes down to, I guess the budget is the big question for me with pulling this off. I mean, I would imagine, you look at something like Star Trek Discovery, they did some pretty good creature effects work for their budget. The Orville has done a good job with some regard to that as well.
Yeah. I think the only thing here, though, is that lots of water and lots of moving green foliage for this creature is going to be a huge problem to have him on screen all the time.
Yeah. They could do the prosthetics like they did originally.
They could, but I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the big question too is like once we get closer to Titans, once we kind of have this is by the way it's a pilot order, so it's not straight to series like the other ones, and it is tentatively set for 2019. So they've got to get the script in place and get it working. But it's one of those things where as we get closer to Titans and we start seeing officially what that looks like. Not just from set photos, like how they change the characters, with CG or with makeup or whatever. I think that'll give us a good idea for which direction they're going to go. But that would be my big concern. I think it sounds like maybe Alec Holland is in the swamp. Maybe first episode. That's the cliffhanger. I don't know.
Maybe.
My guess is halfway through the first episode because if they're only doing a pilot order, I don't think they're not going to have Swamp Thing in the pilot.
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, I mean they've got to have something. Maybe it just ends with the red eyes.
That's my big problem with it. I think because if it were up to me, I would probably build up Abby and Alec a good bit while hinting at the magical stuff. And like, if it was like a 10-episode thing, like episode 3, he dies, and then he comes back in the next episode. That might be a little too long-winded, but I think it would be good to build their relationship up outside of like a single episode, and then after that. Scary swamp man.
And then in the final episode, he puts on the Daredevil suit.
I really hope Anton Arcane is somehow involved in this, but I don't know.
Yeah. My question is, do you think that Constantine will show up in it?
That's a good question.
Potentially. And what's really interesting is an interesting connection there. Mark Verheiden, who is going to help write it, he's best known for, as I said, Ash versus the Evil Dead, but before that he worked on superhero shows like Daredevil and Constantine. So
both of the things I just mentioned.
Both of them, but
there was a reason for that. See,
there you go.
It totally wasn't a coincidence.
Dun dun dun. But just making sure that the audience didn't miss that.
I would very much like Constantine. I would assume like maybe last episode cameo or something, if they do it.
You think you're the only monster in this world? That comes out of the shadows.
Never mind, I don't want it.
I want to sound like John Lennon. But no, all right. So it really is interesting. I kind of was reading the plot synopsis for the 1982 movie while you were talking, and it was like, it does sound like it's going to take a lot of inspiration from that. And I went back to. James Wan is on record as saying that Wes Craven is one of his biggest influences, so that would be
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I don't think it's actually terrible.
No, I mean, it was all right.
Like, it's not amazing or anything.
I've seen it once.
It's like 1982, but
I've seen it once.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. But it just sounds like from the plot synopsis there are a lot of things that cross over. Government agencies trying to take advantage of the swamp's mystical properties and yada,
something like that. I also wish that they would take a little bit of inspiration from Alan Moore, because there's a really good issue. I'm sure you guys know about it, where he gets taken to some government agency and they like dissect him, and that's like the whole planarian worm thing. Like, it's not actually Holland, it's a thing that thinks it's Holland.
Exactly.
Which could be pretty cool, but I don't think they're going to focus too much on Swamp Thing as a character as much as Abby connecting with it.
Yeah. That's probably what I'm thinking as well.